I like it.
Trying,
I'll
sir. I'm trying. So let me start with this, Mr. Arthur. We got Arthur here today, and it's been from popular demand
Oh,
of the whole success team, Tyler, Christina. We've had you around for quite a while now. And you
2020 or 2021. That's when I
you have
started getting.
made some impression in the community. We were talking a little bit before we hit record, and you're like, I'm a little nervous. I'm like, don't worry, I'm a little nervous too. And the biggest thing with Arthur is his attitude and his personality. I mean, people are like magnetized to you. And you make
Oh,
great cookies, I hear.
yeah, I do that. That's kind of like I do make a pretty mean chocolate chip cookie. When I first met my wife, like 25 years ago, she had a big sweet tooth, and I was like, man, I really like this girl. So I started making chocolate chip cookies, and I've improved them and perfected them over 25 years. So now, like when I really love people, like REI Sift, I bring you guys cookies like when you were in Orlando for that convention. So
Yep.
that's where the cookie reputation came in.
So you spoke about your wife. You were saying a little before we started recording. Let's talk about that dynamic because I think that could lead into all sorts of really cool conversation. You're doing business with your wife. Your wife's
Mhm.
on the real estate agent side. You're on the marketing investing side. There's
Yes.
probably some crossovers. What were the challenges you faced? How did you overcome them? What are the successes and rewards of doing stuff like that? Because I'm sure there's plenty of people that want to do that.
Yeah. So, some people like say, oh, working with your spouse is tricky. It can be tricky, but, we're both making a living out of real estate. And, that's where we know that if it gets rocky, then we don't have a good relationship. And it's also going to affect our ability to have a business together. So, like you said, I'm an investor and I do lots of marketing, do lots of
Okay.
cold calls, and I'm always trying to have conversations with people like, hey, I buy houses for cash. Can I talk to you about your problem? And then I'll get to a point where it's like, hey, look, it sounds like you don't need to sell to an investor because you just invested a lot of money in your house. Um, would you like to talk to somebody about what you can list it for? My wife is really great with listing properties, and then I'll get them to say yes, and then I will, tag her in REI SIP with that lead. And then when she gets up and she starts working, in the morning, she opens up REI SIF and she'll see what she's got to do. So she'll see all the records I've tagged her on, and then she'll see my notes. Sometimes we'll just have a quick conversation about it, and then she's able to come to them from a place of service too. So that's how it works out.
That's really cool. And how long has that dynamic been in play?
So we have been like flipping real estate, or we've been real estate investors for like about 10 years. And we started off like flipping houses on our own. And then, we just kind of evolved. And she's really into real estate. Like she loves houses, loves designing, stuff like that. And then she went and got her real estate license. And that was like 5 years ago. So, and then it was like, it almost took like a year for us to like figure like, hey, we're using REI Sift, let me put you in here and we'll start sharing stuff. So then that started. And it's like for 3 years we've been doing it, and it's been really great. And it's like it's like the chances of us like capitalizing on, a listing or getting a deal is really good. And also it's like, we're helping people. So
Yeah.
it's best of both worlds.
And we could talk about that too a little bit. The other day when I messaged you about hopping on an interview, you're like,
Mhm.
well, what do we want to talk about? I was like, well, man, I mean, your attitude and your personality, like I said, it's magnetic. Um, what is what it's hard to ask the question because for a lot of people that's second nature to be a good human being. Like you don't people aren't being good human beings and like I'm being a good human being today because I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But if you were to be introspective a little bit about who you are and what
Mhm.
you do, what makes, a good investor, someone who's authentic and ethical, like how does that come to play in your life?
Okay. So for me and for my wife too, we discuss spirituality a lot. It's like the cornerstone of our relationship, I guess.
Okay.
I think that to be in this business, for me, I want to know that I'm helping somebody. Like I genuinely want to know that, I can help somebody by coming in and helping them sell their house and then going from there. It's just, being of service to others. So I heard this thing one time. They said, love is the highest calling.
Okay.
So I base like a lot of my decisions in life. I'm like, is this my highest calling? What I'm about to do for this person, is that going to help them? And if I can help that person, then it can help me and help my family. So if you go from that highest calling and then base your actions on that, then life is just, for me, it's just better, it's a better existence for me and hopefully other people.
Yeah. So I guess when that maybe that controversial moment or trying to make the distinction between, I need to make money
Yeah.
and I want to help people, that battle, that's how you kind of, that's like the North Star metric that guides that, or how does that
Exactly.
work?
So look, I mean, it's so simple. Like I mentioned, I'll talk to people. I was talking to this woman the other day. Her son had put in new windows. He had put on a roof for her, and he had replaced the kitchen cabinets. And then, tragically, he died. And now she's got this house, and she's old enough now. She's gotten to the point now where she wants to, move into an assisted living facility. And some people might be like, oh, well, gee, it sounds like you got to get this, you need this kind of money, and they put pressure on her
Yeah.
to sell at a discount. And for me, I'm like, look, this lady, she lost her son, she has something of value here. And I say, look, this is what I could offer you, and we can be done in 30 days. But it sounds like, if you're going into an assisted living facility and you need this money, you're going to want as much money as you can get. And I'll be honest with you, I think you can make more money if you use a real estate agent. By the way, my wife is a real estate agent. Would you like to talk to her?
Yeah.
And that's how I make that decision. It's like, I'm not trying to like be unethical, or I'm just trying to be doing the right thing. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And it actually seems like you're able to maintain that humanity in the business transactions by having multiple ways of helping. You're
Yeah,
not,
and I'm super lucky because my wife Jen, she's a real estate agent, so we can do that. If she wasn't, and I was depending on like, a real estate agent that I didn't have a relationship with, or I wasn't like, I couldn't work with so closely, then I'm not sure where these things would go. But it allows us to, build our business, but it also allows us to help people. And really, that's just like this great harmony that we have.
okay. So then when you're doing your outbound prospecting and your cold calling and stuff, um, how are you um entering into these conversations where that there might be sensitive issues, stuff like that? Because I think for people that are really of all skill levels,
Mhm.
some sort of other perspective of how to navigate uh touchy situations would be beneficial, to hear from you.
Yeah. So probate is like, I do a lot of marketing for probate, and that's usually starts with a phone call. And I would be like this, like, let's say I call you up and I go, hey, Mason, this is Arthur. Look, I saw that, you had started probate on this house. And that's why I was calling you, but I don't know if you're ready to talk about this yet. Was that something that you'd be okay with having a quick discussion with me about that?
Ah,
And then going to like, well, you started probate, do you have plans for the property? What's going on? Or, what would you like to do? What would you like to see happen? Oh, you want to keep living there? I totally understand. Look, just I buy houses, but it sounds like you're in a good situation, or you just want to get that and live the rest of your life there. I wish you the best. Or it's like, oh, well, you want to sell a house, can I ask you more questions about it? And do that. It's really simple. You just acknowledge that it may be a difficult thing for them to discuss with you, but then ask their permission to see if you can move forward with it. And it's just being, kind, I guess.
okay. And do you have any sort of um like with your teammates and stuff? I'm assuming you have some VAs and callers
We
and
got a
stuff.
VA, we got a data VA. He's awesome. He's
Okay.
always, he's, I just wake up in the morning and you got new records loaded up in REI Sift, and I'll take
Oh,
off.
okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have VAs doing calling and stuff. So you don't necessarily
No,
have to.
I'm doing a lot of it. And it's like, so we're in 2 counties, and we got an auto, so we have an auto dialer. I'll do bulk dialing sometimes, but for
Okay.
the most part, I get in there and I look, so my day starts off like looking
Okay.
for like problems with these houses. Like, is it empty? Does it have an ouchie? Is it stacked? And then I start there. And then a lot of times I have to do research trying to find the owners and try and put together, like a family tree or a picture of what's going on with the property. I
Okay.
mean, a lot of my leads in REI Sift, they have like little family trees in them. It's like, this is the son, this is the daughter. The daughter doesn't like the brother, put all that stuff in there and allows me to keep going back and have more nuanced conversations with those people.
Okay. When you're building those family trees, how many tabs do you get across your
I get a lot.
across your screen?
I get a lot. So, I go on legacy. I always I'm doing like Google searches for deceased or obituary. Um, and then I use a company called IDI Data to like look people up. So, and I just copy and paste and put them all in there, and that's what I do. I kind of like connecting with people. I mean, I just like genuinely like to connect with
Yes.
people, see what's going on, and then see if I can, be of service or help them out. And then if I can't do it, see if, they might want to talk to my wife, and Jen will come in and talk to them, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Do you think we could hop into your Sift account and kind of just look at your day to day?
Let me just look at this real quick. Yeah, let me
I
see.
can throw that blur feature on too, so no one's snagging up your
Oh, yeah, you want to do that? Just let's see.
yeah.
What was it? I was just looking for. Oh, Roush.
Cool. So yeah, so we're in Arthur's account now, and he's actually going to show us something he was kind of deep diving on, building out his family tree. Unfortunately, I'll have to blur it. So for you guys, it's blurred because YouTube will take this video down. It's not necessarily what he's writing, it's how he's writing it, why he's writing it, and maybe where he's getting it. So really pay attention to that when he's going over this. But without further ado, Arthur, if you just want to just show us kind of what you're feeling here, and then we'll kind of look around your SIFT account.
Okay, so just real quick, this is what I do when I find a lead that I'll start to put together information about the family. So this was a house that it's vacant mailing address.
Okay.
And so I looked it up on the county property appraiser and saw that this house was in an estate. That means that the owner is deceased,
Yep.
that the county knows about it, and it's got a tax implication. But anyway,
Okay.
I started, let's see, right here. So first thing I found out is that the owner's deceased.
Okay.
So I went to a third party that does skip tracing,
Okay.
and grabbed this one, thought it was his daughter, turned out to be like his stepdaughter. But then I grabbed her name and I got her phone numbers. I called up and I talked to her, and then she explained that her mom had been married to this guy and that he had died 20 years ago, and that her mom and her two brothers were living in the house when COVID happened, and then they ended up dying in there. So
Gosh.
she explained that, and then she thought that the house was foreclosed on. I actually found out it wasn't. So, but I had also asked her about other relatives, and she said that the owner has two sons. So then I went and I started looking for the two sons, and I found them. They're close by, but I also found
Yeah.
out I think he has a daughter. So now I've got three people that I can keep contacting. And then if I get in touch with them, I can say, hey, look, the house has been empty for a long time. It's actually got some, it's really starting to show its age. Would you guys be interested in possibly selling it? And then I can come to them and say, look, this is what we could do. You could go into probate, and then from there we can take over and do a lot of the heavy lifting for you guys. Is that something you'd be interested in? So that's what we do
Which
there.
there will be some heavy lifting for sure.
There will be some heavy lifting. And then for like other stuff, like, basically I'm not like some super advanced REI Sift user,
Perfect.
but my wife and I, we tag each other a lot on stuff like this. So I got a lot of overdue stuff. But what we'll do is like I will tag her all the time, like on like, hey, what, look at this property, call this guy. They want, top dollar for it. So we share a lot of like records back and forth with each other. And when I get up, I can like look for stuff. Usually I'm tagging her and
Okay.
telling her about stuff, and then she'll come back and say, yeah, I did talk to him, or hey, that guy doesn't want to really sell his house at all. What's going on? So that's how we
Okay.
use REI Sift back and forth, and it's been really good.
Okay. So you come in and you're looking at your property records. I'm assuming some form of stacked list, and then you kind of just
Yes.
look at the ones you either haven't messed with yet or the ones you've been messing with, and then as you update it, you either tag your wife because you might need her or
Yes.
okay.
So the perfect example is like yesterday I was talking to some guy, and he just replaced all the windows in his house. He just put in a new roof. He just redid the master bathroom. And I was like, oh, well, he goes, but I want to sell this house in like, 6 months. I said, look, you definitely will make the most money selling with a realtor. And if you got 6 months, it doesn't sound like you have any distress. So would it be okay if my wife gave you a call? He's like, yeah, please do. We're going on vacation. Have her give me a call in the middle of August. And I tagged her on that. So, now she'll, open up her computer in mid-August. It'll be there. She'll call a guy up and start a conversation.
Got you. Okay. And then are you primarily just doing the probates, and then if there's anything added on top of that probate, it's bonus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it's like my first to market right here. So I
Okay,
can,
so you are doing the first to market
oh
flow.
yeah,
Okay.
totally do that. But then
Okay.
also, I'm like, maybe I should be more focused on first to market, but then there's other stuff. Like it's called gold mine. And it's just like the way
Ooh,
I kind of like picked all these things. And there are like 1,000 records in here. So I just go through and I call those people just doing this. Like I'll try and get through like 3 a day, 4 a day. And then it allows me to, you know, figure out what's going on with all these properties. And then it allows me to have more conversations. These guys are definitely going to need help selling this property at some point. And I want to be the
that's
guy
some.
that had the best conversations with them.
And I didn't quite see all of the parameters on this.
So really, this is just in two counties where we live. It's
Okay.
they're not absentee, vacant mailing, vacant property, and then I put in parameters like it can't be sold or listed or do not
Correct.
call,
Okay.
and that's it, man. But there's a lot of them, and these guys, and all these houses are empty. There's 1,000 of them. Hang on, uh, what I do?
Gold mine. That's
Yep.
cool.
Then
I
look,
like the name of it too.
it's 1,300 leads. Are you kidding me? I mean, this is like I could just set myself up for life just calling through this list.
Yeah.
Not set
Oh, okay.
myself
So
up.
this
Like
is
this,
the list where you're walking in. So the first thing you do is you process your first to market stuff,
Mhm.
and then once that's done, then you're coming into here and playing.
Yes. Yes. And this is what connects with my heart. Okay. Because I want to help people. So when I sit down to this, I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on with these people. And I'll call up and I just seem to be able to connect better with these guys. I'm like, hey, my name's Arthur. I buy houses here. I saw that, this house is empty. I think you may be related to the person. Is that you? And then see where the conversation goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like the perfect list for you.
And that's it. And it's like, there's one thing I figured out, like at the beginning of the year, is that in real estate investing, a lot of people like, they're trying to tell you what the best model is. If how to start your business, how to do that, how to do this. You got to make all these calls. You got to like hire VAs. You got to do all this stuff. I'm not that guy. I don't want to have like some big company. I'd rather like maybe someday I'll have like, a lead manager or something like that. But this just resonates with me. I can get up and then I can call these people, I can have these conversations, and if I can help them and I help myself, that's the happy ending for me. It's the best part.
Yeah, that's really cool. You're not waking up and saying, "How do I make a buck? How do I make a buck?" You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting out of bed and I'm like, yeah, look, we got to make money, but then
Right.
it's like I get to choose how I make the money. It's like I get that like help somebody, it's like that's what I want to do. I want to like be able to do something that I'm helping them. I know I'm helping them, and I'm also helping myself. But it's like
Yeah.
help them first and then see what you get.
Yeah. And those are the people that'll come back and tell you, "Hey, my uncle's got a house. My friend's got a
Yeah,
house."
yeah. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. I mean, I helped them once. I mean, I think that's good enough. It's like
Yeah. Beautiful. And are you playing around in the SIF line boards a lot, or are you
I
mostly in the
do. I got them.
building?
So like it's kind of like it's kind of like it's like a post-it note. Like it's just a reminder for me. I'm
I like
like are you?
seeing that. I like seeing how everyone uses the SIF line boards differently. For you, it's a
I got
reminder post-it note.
So I got my deep prospecting right there, but that's, that these are ones that I'm working on. Like I've had really good conversations with these people. I got my lead management and I push stuff through there. And then I got my first to market stuff. My retail listings, that's actually for my wife, Jen.
Oh, cool.
So, I just put that together for her to start doing that stuff. But yeah, it's I do that. Listen, my favorite thing about REI Sift, and this is like such a basic answer, but it's
Okay.
my favorite, is being able to tag my wife on this stuff. It's
Yeah.
like that is how we communicate. That's how we live and breathe in REI Sift. Hey, did you talk to that person? Oh, I can go and like look it up, like, hey, did she call him? And like, she'll put in like I can see where she wrote in her notes from a conversation. That's like the best thing for us in REI Sift.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really neat. Is
Yeah.
the so you're prospecting. That's different than your gold mine though, right?
So it is a little bit different than the gold mine because I started the deep prospecting before. I mean, the gold mine, I started deep prospecting right when like the SIF line came out and I put it up there. And
Gotcha.
when I get down to it, it's like, my deep prospecting there is like things I know I'm making some big money on.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we got this one, it turned out there's this house, it's like the house is a mess, it's a disaster. Um,
Is
and
this
the
a deal
guy
you've closed already or that you're working on?
no, we're working on it right now. It's like, but I
Okay.
found him. The guy lives in a very small island in in the Pacific, like right off the coast of Africa. I had to find this guy through deep prospecting. It took like almost a year, but I found him, and that was deep prospecting. Now we're talking to him, and he's got a pretty tricky probate situation happening, but we're working with him on that. And that was one of my deep prospecting things. But my payoff is going to be like, it's going to probably be my biggest payoff in my career so
Why
far.
is he in South? Why is he on an island in Africa?
He just bounced. He's just like didn't like America anymore, and he split. And his family has this, or his um father had this like just mansion in this really great neighborhood, and he died, and then the son is living in this living in these islands, and they're not doing anything with it. And I said, hey, I can help you with this. Is that something you want to talk about? He's like, well, it belongs to my father, and we got to do this. I'm like, yeah, I can, point you in the right direction with probate. I can go do all this stuff. It's got a lot of liens against it. I'm going to go talk to the city, see if we can get the liens reduced. So again, this is just me having like, this extra special attention to these people, helping him. And he's got brothers and sisters that'll benefit from the sale too. And once I get them taken care of and, we sell the house, they're good. And then I'll be good.
That's crazy. A mansion and he moves to the islands in Africa.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, I don't even want to ever think about this because I don't want to do the work. And then someone who wants to help comes in and helps him out.
Yeah. So he kind of
Was
like, he just didn't want to be an American anymore. That's his perspective. But I found him, I started talking to him, and then we like when I found him, I emailed him I think it was
that's
his ex-wife. He's like, here's his email address. Good luck. And I emailed him, and then he answered me, and I started going back and forth, and now, we got an agreement signed, and we're moving forward.
that's what I was gonna. My next question was gonna be was, did you have to call some crazy number like
We
for
got
this?
WhatsApp, so now it's like now we've had like Zoom calls and stuff like that. So yeah, so
Oh,
benefit.
really?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard of something like that. I haven't heard of people having a contact outside of the country for homes in the country. That's probably more common than I thought, but I haven't heard of
It
that.
is. Well, yeah, it depends on your market. In Florida, we've got like, that everything is
Right.
so transparent. So this is what you can do. I'll just give you guys a nugget. If you go and look for foreign owned properties that are tax delinquent, then you've got like someone lives in Canada, somebody lives in Puerto Rico, but their house is here, it's got a tax delinquency on it. They don't live in the United States. How motivated is that person to do something?
Probably pretty dang motivated.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to do a follow-up call and we just let you go through some of those records and see what you can find.
Maybe.
Yeah. Cool, man. Hey, honestly, I think this was exactly what we needed to do. Just have a conversation on humanity and how to be a good person when you're making money and stuff like that. So really
Yeah.
means a lot.
Thank you. I think that there was a lot of good people in this world. I think there's a lot more good people in this world than there are bad people. So, I want to be one of those good people. Also, I want to say I love REI Sift, man. It's like I am down with Sift forever. I love the community. I definitely love the platform. All you guys there are just great. I'm super happy that I found you guys.